Good morning, my dear students. Today we are discussing about the retrogressive metamorphosis, a phenomenon which happens to take place in Eurochordata along with the larval stage of Ascidian, that is Ascidian tadpole larva. So you already know that in the last class we have discussed about the ascidians. So these are sac-like marine invertebrate filter feeders which composed of a tough outer tunic which is made up of polysaccharide cellulose. So, metamorphosis, the word meaning you already know that what exactly happened in case of metamorphosis. So this is a process by which the larva undergo a several changes to be transformed into an adult, and that what we call it as metamorphosis. So retrogressive metamorphosis is a characteristic of ascidians, that is in case of Eurochordata or Tunicata. So it is given this name because here you can see a progressive, active, alert larva metamorphosis into a retrograde and sedentary adult. So these ascidians, they are marine, sedentary, bag-like creatures that remain attached to the rocky substratum all their lives, and they use the water current which is passing through their large perforated pharynx to collect the microorganisms. The larva is active, tadpole-like shape and has a three chordate features, that is gill slits, notochord and dorsal tubular nerve cord. Most of these characters, they are lost or become degenerated as the active larva, they get metamorphosized. Hence the term that what we call it as retrogressive metamorphosis. So ascidian larva. So here is the picture of ascidian larva and fully developed ascidian tadpole. It is a minute and it is about 1.5 mm long and they are motile. And these ascidians, they are covered with the thin tunic or tusk which is secreted by the ectoderm. So these have an anterior short oval head or trunk and a posterior long tail. So that means the body has been divided into anterior, that is a head or a trunk, and a posterior, that is the tail region. The first part of the body, that is head or trunk. So here is the picture which clearly says about different structure what you find in ascidians. The anterior end of the trunk are three adhesive papillae which is made up of ectodermal cells. The nervous system consists of an anterior enlarged hollow sense vesicle or brain vesicle. The sense vesicle is continued posteriorly into a solid thick mass of nerve cell, the visceral ganglion. It is continued posteriorly into a nerve cord which is a halo, and then it is continued into the tail region. So that means the sensory vesicle, it is continued that is posteriorly up to the tail region. That means the nerve cord that have been continued till the tail region. The sense vesicle contains a pigmented statocyst and two pigmented unequal ocelli or simple eyes as a sense organ. So the alimentary canal begins from anterior dorsal mouth leading into a narrow branchial siphon, a large sac-like pharynx, short esophagus, stomach, intestine and a small rectum. The anus opens into the left side of the atrium. The pharynx has a ventral endostyle. Endostyle, it is a grooved structure which helps in that is it produces the mucus, and also it helps in gathering of the food, and also it consisting of a pair of large gill slits or stigmata. Each gill slits finally splits to form 6 stigmata on either side, that is on the lateral side. So this is the picture of ascidian tadpole. So the atrial cavity is formed around the pharynx laterally and dorsally and open to the exterior by an atrial aperture which is lying dorsally. The heart and the pericardium, it is located posterior ventrally in between pharynx and also in the between pharynx and the stomach. The second part of the body, what we call it as the tail. So the tail is a powerful locomotory organ being laterally compressed and pointed terminally. The tail, it is about 0.9 mm and it is fringed with a vertical continuous tail fin formed by the test and marked with the oblique striations looking like a fin rays. So this tail region, which consisting of tubular nerve cord, a notochord, beneath the nerve cord and the lateral muscle bands. The anterior region of the nerve cord slightly project into the trunk region. The Ascidian tadpole larva is a true chordate having a dorsal hollow nerve tube, a notochord in the tail and a paired gill slits in the pharynx, and after about 3 hours of active non-feeding and free-living existence, it sinks to the bottom. So this is about the structure of Ascidian tadpole with the body parts, that is head or trunk, and the second part what it is, the tail region. So coming to the habits and habitat of the larva. Just after hatching, the larva is photopositive, photo means light, and geo-negative. It cannot feed because its mouth is covered with the test. After a short active free swimming existence which lasts for about 3 to 4 hours, the larva becomes geopositive, photonegative, and it becomes sluggish. It sinks to the bottom and attaches itself upside down to a suitable hard substratum with the help of adhesive papillae and undergo rapid degeneration, or what we call it as retrogressive metamorphosis, to attain adulthood. According to the Beryl, the selection of a suitable habitat is essential as the larva may not survive on any other habitat or may get suffocated by the bottom mud or detritus. So coming to the important phenomenon, that is retrogressive metamorphosis, which happens to take place only in case of the subphylum, that is Urochordata. Meta means after, morph means form, oasis means state. Is the change in form during post-embryonic development and signals a dramatic change in habitat of the animal, such as pelagic to benthic existence. Metamorphosis of Ascidian larva is unique and begins almost explosive. So it involves transformation of active non-feeding pelagic lithotrophic and tailed larva having many advanced features such as notochord, neural tube and special sense organs into an inert sedentary or sessile simple planktophic filter feeding adult with only a pharynx with stigmata and endostyle, both indicating the chordate features of adult Ascidians. That means, so during the larval stages, what are all the important characters? For example, the notochord, nerve cord and the gill slits, which are present in the larval stages, that have been degenerated in case of the adults. This type of metamorphosis, which shows degenerative or retrogressive changes from larval to the adult, is called retrogressive metamorphosis. So it involves following two types of changes, that is retrogressive or progressive. So what are all the retrogressive changes? That means they involve destruction or disappearance of some of the larval structures. For example, long tail of larva with the caudal fin, they get shortens and finally they get disappeared. Caudal muscles, nerve cord, notochord disappear as they break down and are consumed by phagocytes. Larval sense organ they are lost and the sensory vesicle have been transformed into the cerebral ganglion. Adhesive papillae disappear completely. So here what happens, in the picture you can clearly make out A, B and C, that is the anterior region which is present between the adhesive papillae and the mouth. They shows a rapid growth, while original dorsal side which is having atriopore that will stops the growth. Because of this causes the shifting of mouth through 90 degree. Therefore, the final branchial and the atrial aperture in the adult, they represents the original anterior and the dorsal sides of the larva. So these are the some of the changes what you find when there is a retrogressive changes. Second one, that is progressive changes. Some larval structures they are necessary for survival. They become more elaborated and specialized in each adult. Such as, due to the loss of tail, the trunk becomes pear-shaped and four larger ectodermal amphillae grow out of its four corners. These amphillae firmly anchor the metamorphosizing tadpole to the substratum and also serve for respiration as the blood-like fluid keeps circulating through them. So in this picture, you can clearly make out the life cycle of ascidians which showing the retrogressive metamorphosis of tadpole larva and its attachment to the solid substratum. So here the anterior region between the point of attachment and the mouth exhibits the rapid growth, while original dorsal side with the atriopore this stops the growth. So this causes shifting of mouth through 90 degree. The body too rotates, so the general form of the adult they become the sessile organism is assumed. So the neural glands and the nerve or cerebral ganglion are formed by the neural tube and the trunk ganglion come to lie mid-dorsally. See here in this picture, you can clearly see the life cycle with the retrogressive metamorphosis, where the ascidians they shows the retrogressive metamorphosis and the adult they are found attached to the substratum. Thank you.